All right, guys, so just from the close guard, a lot of the times the most common thing you'll see, especially when you have the opponent or partner in your close guards, you'll have this double post on your hips. So the first thing we're gonna look to do is we're just gonna go both hands on the inside of the wrist and pull our knees towards our chest.
Stay tight, attaboy.
Here, okay, so from here, we're just gonna look, instead of going necessarily to an overhook, we're gonna look to get like a grip on their lat. It's not like it's similar control to an overhook, but obviously the overhook's on the arm. This is just gonna be a grip on the lat across their back. So here or here, whichever side you prefer. And now all we're gonna look to do, we're gonna pull. So I'm pulling this way. I'm trying to pull his shoulder above his head, and then I'm gonna look to underhook his far legs. Here, when I go to do this, I wanna walk my guard as high as I can so my legs are as close to his shoulders as possible, okay? From here, I'm gonna look to get almost like my hip, I wanna treat my hips like a spring for his body. So I wanna try to get my hips as far under him as I can, okay? I'm gonna do so by, instead of just keeping my guard closed and swinging or trying to push him off of me, I'm gonna look to turn my knee and get my hips under his chest, okay? From here, I'm gonna pull his back to the mat and I'm gonna lift his knee with this underhook on his leg, okay? So I keep all my grips, all my position, and I'm just gonna end up in the top mount. So, our opponent's in our close guard. We go double inside the wrist, and we're just gonna bring our knees to our chest, okay? From here, I'm gonna look to go across the body to this far lat. When you make the grip on the lat, you wanna make the grip and not just pull it as in pull the shoulder above the head, but you wanna rotate it almost. So I'm pulling this way, not just pulling the shoulder up, but I'm going in like a circular motion, almost like a counterclockwise motion. So here, I'm gonna open my legs, but I'm gonna walk my knees tight up his body. So I'm not necessarily keeping my guard closed the entire time. I'm just keeping it closed enough to where I can get my legs in a decent position to underhook the leg here, using the back of my knee in his back or in the back of his head, enough to get my hips under his chest to sweep him over, okay? So when I go to finish the sweep, the arm that's stay there, bro. The arm that's under the leg is gonna be doing like a shot put motion. So I'm also trying to bring his head in the same motion or the same direction that I'm pulling his shoulder. Okay, so I want everything to go one way. Here, I'm using my legs. I'm gonna go here and use my legs to spring load him off of me, okay? So here I got that lat grip. I go under his knee. I get my guard high. From here, if they're really, really heavy, which you'll encounter most of the time, people will try to lock you down here. We're gonna use our outside leg, or this leg right here. We're gonna use that leg to pendulum, okay? So, or just swing. So here, okay, keeping the top position. We move the wrist, bring our knees to our chest, trying to bring his head as close to my head as possible. We're gonna go across the back with the lat grip. From here, I'm gonna use that lat grip to help me walk my legs up, okay? Once I get my guard super high, I'm gonna look to underhook his leg and then open my guard again to turn my knee into his back or the back of his head, enough to let me get my hips under his chest. That way we can really get good pressure or good elevation on our sweep. So here, from here, I'm gonna stop both of my feet, or I'm gonna take my feet to the floor while I'm swinging my leg and driving with this underhook on the leg up in the same motion that I'm pulling the shoulder. So here, keeping the underhook on the leg until both of my knees hit the mat, and I can get a good mount position here. if you go to break them down and they post here and their hands are on the mat, just do the same thing, but again. So if they get a good double post, you just bring your knees to your chest and use your wrists on the same way, in the same way. So if he posts his hands on the mat, here. Now I can bring my hand inside and start to look for this position here.